Right, has everyone got block and bolster? And, you know, blanket or eye cushion if you would like either of those things. Not compulsory, but has everyone got a block and a block? I haven't got a block. Here, Hucky, this one's for you. You come sit here. Hux. Hey. All right, let's open the space with 3 times. Hopefully most of you know, not a compulsory thing, but something that if you feel like joining in, you can. Just before we do that, let's all take a moment individually to connect with ourselves. In order to connect authentically with our lives and with those in our lives, really important to have this sense of connection with yourself. And your true self is beyond your attachments, thoughts, identities, roles. One way to access that part of yourself is to first center your awareness on your breath. Use this as your anchor to the present moment. It's helping your mind release, let go of this attachment to what's happening mentally. It's okay and completely normal for that mental energy to keep moving through, for thoughts to keep coming up, for feelings, moods, emotions to continue to arise in the mind space. The only change is the shift in your attachment or perception or perspective. So you're stepping back from being the thinker, the generator of thoughts and emotions, to being the one that observes all of this stuff arising and passing within your field of awareness. You have the ability to do this. It just takes practice. Using the breath, calm, ground, and center your mind. Just observing the screen of the mind, the space behind the closed eyes. Your true self, the one that watches, the observer. From this place, we can bring the palms of the hands together in front of the heart. Take a couple of deep breaths in and out through the nose. Breathing up through the body, breathing into a full torso, a full posture, an upright spine. And next inhale for breathing in. Relaxing the hands, coming back to that, observing the mind space, the screen of the mind, but also peripherally aware of your physical body You can scan your awareness through your body to just initially be mindful of, to become aware of, maybe even to, at this point, release any habitual holding in your body. So if you notice that it's the shoulders, you can drop the shoulders down. If it's anything in the face or the muscles of the face, you can invite those to soften and release. Maybe it's in the belly. You're also welcome to look for or to notice any parts of your body that feel heavy, stagnant. From whatever seated position you are in, start to rotate your torso. Right to left to begin with. You can start nice and small with those rotations, and you can gradually build so that as you come up and back, your shoulders travel slightly behind the hips. And as you come forward, the chest sweeps across from knee to knee. You can also explore accentuating the movement of the shoulders here, or the movement of your head. And if you're curious and you can really feel into each part of the movement, you might find a way to even bring a twist into this rotation. Moving slowly and mindfully. And then going back the opposite way. Change the direction, movements. Keep the breathing the same so that the inhales expand up through the torso as you're leaning back and lifting up. And the folding forward of the torso helps with that exhalation, emptying of the lungs. Last couple rounds, going this way. Or pausing in neutral. We'll take an opportunity between some of the movements to re-establish that connection to witnessing. An opportunity to step back again if and when needed. Observing sensations, observing breath, observing any mental contents. When you're ready, you can interlace your fingers here, press the palms down, forward and up overhead. And then take a little lean to the left. Breathing in, come up, extend. Breathing out, a little lean to the right. Inhale, come up. This time as you lean, take a twist as well. So leaning to the left, pulling your right shoulder back, looking up towards your right elbow. Pausing here for a couple of breaths. Staying grounded through that opposite sit bone and breathing in, coming up. Reach tall. Breathing out, leaning to the right. And this time, looking up toward left elbow, rotating left shoulder slightly back. Gentle twist. Coming up, release the hands, wrap the arms together around behind the back. You can grab opposite elbows, forearms, wrists, or bring the fists together. Gently drop your shoulders, draw your elbows back, and lift your chest, a little lift of your chin. So not going so deep that the breathing is challenged. Releasing out, you can bring the hands to the floor in front. We're going to shift to a big toes touching knees wide, kneeling position. Getting our base, our posture set up for lion's breath. So working a little bit with the throat chakra today, Vishuddha or Vishuddhi. To get into this position, I find first bringing the fingertips to the floor and then turning the palms out so thumbs rotate open. Keeping the fingers on the floor and then lean your torso forward. Your bum can lift up off your heels just to plant the hands down. You can step them in a little bit closer so that your thumbs almost tuck underneath a certain part of your legs, the outer calf muscles. And once you've got that position, start to draw your shoulders back, take your chest forward, your gaze forward, and then just sit back to whatever degree you comfortably can. So your hips might not be able to come back to the heels, that's okay. You can also use a cushion to bridge that gap if you'd like. So for lion's breath, we take a eye mudra, where you're kind of crossing your eyes, looking up, as if taking your gaze to this point here, Mudra. As you inhale, eyes open, crossing, looking up towards eyebrow center, and really opening through the chest. You want to feel this part of your throat opening. And then as you exhale, tongue sticks out and you make a big, loud noise. Forceful exhalation. Do 9 of these together. So looking up, breathing in. Three to go. Last one. Release your hands, sit back onto your heels. Vajrasana, if that's not comfortable, you're welcome to sit in a cross-legged position instead. Lengthen your spine, pause there for a few moments. Hold your awareness in the area of the throat. If you'd like, you can use a gentle ujjayi pranayama, so a gentle kind of stroking the throat with the breath, so it's slightly audible just to you. Feeling the breath touch the throat. Noticing the temperature, maybe slightly cooler as it moves in, warmer as it moves out. Okay, coming to tabletop, ready for twisting. Twisting tabletop, so starting with right hand going up. So left hand can be underneath left shoulder, or you can bring it more towards the center, underneath your chest. And breathing in, take your right hand, right fingers up, turn to look up. And breathing out, follow the fingertips with your gaze as you sweep through underneath the body. Slide the outer hand to the left and come to rest on your shoulder, or if you need to, a block or a cushion. Hopefully the head can rest down as well. Feel the position of your hips and pelvis, the weight on the knees, and see if you can bring that all into balance. A couple more breaths here. And pushing into that left hand, come up, breathing in. Breathing out, release down. Other side, inhale, open. Exhale, follow the fingertips with your gaze, sliding through. So right hand can stay grounded there, or you can bring it up and over to lower back or to the inner left thigh. And try to turn your head. So you're resting on the left outer side of your head, left temple toward the floor. Cool, and getting ready to come up. So right hand back down, inhale, reach up. Exhale down, sit to the heels. Then tuck the toes under, come to high kneeling. We're going to move through camel pose but alternate hands, and then you'll have the opportunity, if you're up for it, to go both hands back. So toes tucked under just help to bring the our point of contact a bit higher than the floor, not so hard on the back. So starting with, and if the heel still feels far away for you, you can leave your hand on your opposite hip as the other hand comes up. So starting with the right hand coming up, left hand to the hip or to the heel, breathing in. And then breathing out, lower your right hand down as you sit back up. Inhale, coming up with the left hand, leaning back. Exhale, coming back up. Inhale, right side. Exhale. Inhale, left. So allow for that pause at the top. Exhale, pause. Inhale, right. Exhale. Little lift of the chin for these last few rounds. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. One more each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Pausing here. So options for full camel can be hands at the lower back this way. You might reach back to grab heels. Wherever you are, you're just looking to draw your shoulders back. You can interlace your fingers as well. That's another option. Little lift of the chin. So find something that you can hold for maybe 3 to 5 breaths. And again, look for that stroking sensation of the breath at the throat. Lift the chin. One more in breath and sitting to the heels, grabbing the heels. Chin to the chest and bringing the top of your head to the floor. So rounding yourself like a little turtle. Lift your bum up so that you're creating an active rounding through your back. Couple of breaths here. Now take your hands out in front. We're actually going to press the forearms into the floor. So forearms are kind of either side of the head. Spread the fingers. Now press into your toes, lift your knees up a little bit, roll on, take some weight onto the top of your head, but just as much weight should be on the forearms. So inhale, lift the bum, take some weight onto the top of the head and forearms. Lift the knees up, and then exhale, land the knees back down. Chin toward the chest, just do it a couple more times. Inhale, lift the bum. Pressure at the very top of the head. Exhale, lower down, and then one final time. Cool, and release. If anyone feels up to taking a forearm stand, head stand, you're welcome to. Yep, that's what I thought. No worries. No takers? No worries. Okay, now let's move to downward facing dog. So press into your hands, lift your knees and shift your bum back and up. Walk the heels out. When you're ready, so taking as much time as you need to in downward facing dog, you have the luxury of extra time here. When you're ready, you can step forward with your right foot and take your left knee down to the ground. So in low lizard, low lunge, you can use a block here underneath your hands if you'd like. You can move the hips around. They feel like they need a bit more waking up. Just a few more breaths with a bit of mobilizing through your hips. Then we're going to come up to hands, hips. And again, options here, you could stay hands at the hips, draw the elbows back, lift the chest. Hands could come to the lower back. or you can interlace your fingers, press the knuckles down, push the hips gently forward, and lift the chin. See if you can lift the chin without dropping your head or collapsing the head back. So keep that space at the back of the neck, be aware of that space, but also feeling into the opening through the throat. One more breath in here. As you exhale, release your hands to the ground when it comes to half split. So right toes pull back, and again, you've got the option to use a block or 2 blocks if you'd like. Draw your chin in slightly. Cool. Coming forward, hand back to downward facing dog. And then a little bit of time here. When you're ready for the other side, bring that left foot forward. Spend some time in that low lunge position, mobilizing through the hip. Okay, as you're ready, coming up, hands to hips, a moment there, or staying here. Just get a sense of lifting up and out of your lower back, up and out of your pelvis. And then bring your hands to the position you're going to use for your opening through chest and throat, whatever that is. Slowly lift your chin, find that sweet spot where both sides of the neck, front and back of the neck are open. Maybe pressing a little more actively into that front foot to hold you steady. You can also explore dropping your hips, your pelvis down lower, if that feels good to you. Making sure you're still breathing and aware of the breath. Check that the weight hasn't shifted forward to the ball of the left foot, that you're still grounding through your heel. And releasing nice and slowly, hips come up as hands come to the ground. Left toes pull back. Breath softly stroking the inner walls of the throat. Okay, back to downward facing dog. Lengthen the spine, chin to the chest, then coming down onto your front, forearms to the ground for Sphinx. So you can modify Sphinx depending on how your lower back's feeling. Start with your elbows underneath your shoulders, roughly. If that doesn't feel good, if there's any pinching or discomfort in the lower back, then take your elbows out in front. Bring your ribs more to the ground, but keep drawing your shoulders back. Let your pelvis be heavy. Bring the chin toward parallel with the floor, but press into the forearms, press into the hands. There's a little bit of a lift. You're not dumping the shoulders up to the ears. So they draw back and down.
Notice if you're rolling in thoughts now, and come back to your breath. Breath at the throat. Angle your left hand in about 45 degrees. Reach back with your right hand and grab your left foot, and turning the head as well to look toward the right toe, sorry. If you can't grab the foot, then just bring it in as close as you can. That's just you're heading in that direction. Try to keep the hips on the ground, the thighs on the ground. Just gently pulling the heel toward the bottom and pulling your right shoulder back as well. One more breath. Gently release. Right hand 45 degrees, left hand now reaching back, turning to look towards the left, drawing your left shoulder back. One more breath. Release. Hands under the shoulders. Press onto tabletop. We're going to have a little bit of a playful transition here. So toes will tuck under, knees will come off the floor, and then see if you can hop feet forward. Froggy hop. Otherwise, walk or step your feet. Grab a block for underneath your bottom if you need one, if you find that that's useful. If you are using a block in Malasana and your heels lift up off the floor, then I suggest grabbing your legs somewhere, lifting your bum a bit higher, finding the position where the heels are on the floor still, but the hips are moving down. So we want to keep the heels grounded, not sacrifice that for bum down. So that's a really great idea, Ange, grabbing a few extra blocks if you need them. So if Malasana continues to evade you, then maybe instead of sitting in Malasana, you can do your wind releasing, just lifting and lowering, pushing into your edge and squat. Knees pushing out, and you're just sitting down as low as you can, pushing the bum up. Yep. Those of you in Malasana, let's make it a little bit trickier. Right hand down, left hand up. And then see if you can slide your shoulder inside your knee. And then if you want to go further, your left hand can come down around behind the back, palm open to the wall behind you. Yeah. And then this right hand can rotate out from around behind towards your left hand. So you look like this. Maybe. If you're looking for more. Oh yeah, we've got a couple. Cool, releasing. And other side, left hand down, right hand up. So if you're in Malasana, this is continuing to give you options. Otherwise, you're working with your wind release, lifting and lowering into Malasana. Those of you working towards the bind, take your chin towards your shoulder. At this stage, this side, chin toward right shoulder. Draw that shoulder back and down, looking up. It's okay. I'm doing it. Well, we're all doing different things. It's great. So let's stand on up now. Yeah. Whew. Pelvis is getting it this morning. So there's an expression or a saying that I saw, it must have been an Instagram post, that it said, tight lips, tight hips. And you might be a bit puzzled by that, but what it's speaking to is the relationship between our voice, speaking our truth, or not suppressing that, tight lips. That tension travels down to our hips. So there's a really strong connection between our pelvis and our throat. For women, we have a really even deeper connection between our reproductive organs and our voice box. Have a look at the images of those two parts of your body. They're insanely similar. Then you should be like, Leslie, go. Well, you know, hip tightness isn't just from not speaking our truth, but I just wanted to shine the light on the relationship there, because we are working both with pelvis today and the throat chakra. All right, a few rounds through our dynamic chair, Utkatasana. So breathing in, raising the arms, just bearing in mind the flexibility of your shoulders, breathing out, sitting through chair, continuing to breathe out as you bring your belly to your thighs, fingertips touch the floor. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, stand. Deep breath in. Breathing out, slow breath out as you sit into chair, continue to fold, biceps round by the ears. Inhale, coming up. Press through your feet, exhale, stand. Take a few more of those. Inhale, just the arms. Exhale, sitting down. As you fold, be aware of the length, space at the back of the neck, keeping your chin in toward your chest, so that's all moving in one unit. Inhale, coming up. As your torso lifts, your gaze lifts, so like a rising sun. Exhale, release. Last one, deep breath in. Breathing out. Moving with as much control as you can. Inhale to chair. Press your feet into the floor. Exhale, stand. Now coming into whole chair. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, sit down. Now hold here, find your place, tailbone pointing down. What we're going to experiment with is a sense of screwing your feet into the floor, using your thigh bones and your, what are these ones called? Shin bones. I'm going to go with the actual anatomical word. So you might feel like a slight external rotation at the hips, but then the shins are drawing in. So the heels kind of push out and the toes push in, but nothing actually moves that much. Your feet stay parallel. And so what you might notice is now the glutes have switched on. You might feel a little bit in your bum, or you might feel outer hips, or just a sense of your legs working more. Feel into that, but try to stay soft through your belly, through the pelvic floor. One more breath in and out. Release. Take a moment to feel into the residual sensation. Having released those muscles, let's do some figure of eights through the hips, hands at the hips. You can start with just some simple circles, a few times each way. And if you can't get your head around the figure of eights, you can continue with circling. Otherwise, you're making this figure of eight shape with the hips. Moving at your own pace. And then back the opposite way. Cool. To center. Get your block ready. We're going to work with twisting triangle. So starting with your left foot back, the block can come inside the right foot. Hands to the hips, slowly fold yourself or hinge at the hip to parallel. Notice that you might need to bend your knee a little bit. Bring your hands to your hips, go forward and back a few times, and then find balance between the right and left side. So there might be a little bit more active drawing back of the right hip and forward through the left hip, but try not to overdo it, just to find balance. Bring your torso parallel to the floor. Now bring your left hand down to the block. You can have your right hand now at your lower back. Start to pull your right hip back a little more, pull your right shoulder back. Look up toward the ceiling. So again, we've got the chin coming toward the shoulder. And if you want to go further here, you can extend your right hand straight up. So you've got the arms in a straight line. Back heel, if it's lifted up off the ground, that's okay. You're just pushing it toward the floor. And this is kind of scissoring motion of the legs. One more breath in. From here, coming to the folded pyramid. So right hand to the ground. You can use your block if you'd like, or bring your hands to the ground, maybe bend your knee a bit more, but releasing your head down. So your nose toward your knee. And the stance for this one tends to be a little more narrow. So if you find it useful, you can step the back foot in slightly. And the toes need to be angling forward in order for your hip to draw forward here as well. Now just come back to breath at the throat. Well, from here, hands come up to the hips. Inhale, pressing through the feet nice and strong to standing. And step forward. Pause here, release. Shoulders back and down. Relax through your midsection, through your belly. Feel the breath moving against the throat. And now we'll step back with the right foot. Yeah. You got it, Steve. Angling toes forward, hands to the hips, and finding our torso set up. Adjusting your hips, maybe bending your knee more if you need to in order to get your hips even. So even in terms of the hip placement in relationship to the front of the room, and even in terms of your sacrum in relationship to the ceiling. So flat both sides, left and right sides. When you're ready, you feel you've got that. Bring that left hand down. Is it left hand? No, right hand down. Bring the palm of your left hand to your lower back. And even using the block, you can come up onto your fingertips on the block if that feels good. Draw the shoulder back, looking up, chin toward the shoulder, left outer hip pulling back, right hip drawing forward, option to raise the arm. Have the palm of the hand open to the left side. Work to bring your wrist to sit over your elbow to sit over your shoulder, and down through that opposite arm. You can also try coming up a bit higher on your block if you feel like that might give you some more space. I'm on the highest sitting with the block. That's where I feel most spacious in a twisting triangle. It's quite a challenging one. Couple more breaths. And hand to the ground or to the block. Take a moment to lengthen forward, lengthen the spine, and fold over that leg. Make sure you've allowed the head to be heavy. Drop down like you're moving your nose towards your knee. So there's a drawing of the chin toward the chest, which creates that automatic seal at the throat, Jalandhara Bandha. Your awareness is there. Now hands to the hips, strong through your core, through your back. Inhale, coming up to standing. Exhale, step to the front of your mat and pause there, release, relax. Keep your energy, your awareness looping back in, looping back in. If it travels out, loop it back in, because that's what thinking does. Thinking takes you from here somewhere else. Loop it back in. Okay, final standing pose has to be a balance. So you've got an option. Eagle here, or here, or here, or a little bit more of a challenge, floating pigeon. Whatever you're in the mood for, whatever's floating your boat today. So we're going to start with the right leg. So if you're doing eagle, just first Bend your knees, bring your right leg over your left, just like you'd cross your legs on a chair. Important to have this left knee bent like you're sitting on a chair, so you've got the ledge for your right leg. Then left arm underneath the right, maybe going back to opposite shoulders, maybe backs of the arms touching, maybe palms of the hands touching. Usually I cue elbows up, parallel to the floor. Today we're going to fold a little bit forward more, so coming in toward the belly. If you want to do floating pigeon, bring your ankle to sit on top of your knee, sit your bum down, working to get it parallel with your knee. Hands can stay here, or you can float the arms out and fold your torso even further down, deepening into the outer hip, into the glute. Keep your gaze fixed on that single point. Check the breath is steady and even. Last 2 cycles of breath, in and out, in and out. Wherever you are. Slowly come up to standing. Land your floating pigeon or your soaring eagle. Yeah, buckled wing. Missing a leg. And then other side. So bend the knees. Create that ledge. Left crosses over right. Arms out, right arm underneath the left. However you're placing your arms. And then if you're wanting to challenge the balance a bit more, the toes can lift. You might even wrap them or work on wrapping it behind the opposite leg. Or if you're going with pigeon, point the toes forward, sit your bum down. If you really want to go for it, you could start to work on a toe balancing pigeon. Buckled wing. But more important than that is that your mind is focused, the breathing is even. Last couple of breaths. And coming up to standing. Beautiful. We're going straight down onto the back from here, setting up for bridge pose. So come to lie down. Heels in toward the bum, about the width of the hips. Oh yeah, right on time. So we'll do a few dynamic bridge. You probably know the drill. So raising the arms with the hips, with the breath. Just do 3 of those. And then leaving the hands down by your sides for the 4th bridge. Lift your hips, come to static bridge. You're working on bringing your chest to your chin. So for static bridge, arms beside you or tucked underneath you. Hold there for 6 breaths. Ground your feet. Feel into that gentle seal at the throat. And releasing down. Extend your legs straight. Forearms pressing into the floor, elbows pressing into the floor, lift up a little bit. And bring your hands just outside or slightly behind your buttocks. Push the front of your hip bones forward and drop your head back. Soft Ujjayi breathing. Hushing the throat. 3 more breaths. And then come down onto your back, hug your knees into your chest. And take a twist to each side. So twisting to the left, turn your head to the right. And take 5 breaths there. Come to center, go to the other side. Five breaths on the other side, then coming back to the middle. We're going to do a modified legs raised. You can use a block if you'd like, if you don't have hands supported behind you, shoulder stand. What we're looking to do, rather than just having legs going straight up, even with the bum back on the ground, or in shoulder stand, rather than having the legs going straight up, we're going to push the hips back a little bit and have the feet moving back toward the head, turn toward the chest. So create that for yourself. You can use a little cushion underneath your lower back to help to get the legs angling back. If you're choosing to stay back grounded, that's fine. Again, it's more about the experience, keeping the mind calm. If you can do that from your shoulder stand. Five more breaths. If you want to go through plow on your way down, you can. And then coming down onto your back after those 5 breaths. Take a moment there to check in. Feel at the physical level any other movements you might like to do, or any support you might like to have for your Shavasana. We're making that shift to Shavasana in your own time. Maybe taking a audible sigh out through the mouth a couple times to release, and also to relax again the muscles of the throat. And feel the back of your head on the floor. The backs of the shoulders and arms on the floor. The sacrum, buttocks on the floor. The heels on the floor. Feel all those points of contact between body and the floor. Release. Relax. Let your body melt.
Bringing your awareness now to the center of the throat. Creating that soft, hushing sound of the breath, moves in and out. You want to visualize a point of light here at the center of the throat as you breathe. And with each exhale, just mentally repeat the bead mantra, Hum. The seed mantra for Vishudda chakra, Hum. You might have a sense of the vibration of Hum unfolding from the center of the throat, from this energy vortex of Vishuddhi. Each chakra has a geometric shape, and each geometric shape has its own vibrational frequency. And for this one, it's Hum. A couple more rounds. Soft ujjayi, Hum mentally on the exhale, awareness at the center of the throat, with or without the visualization. One more round, exhaling Hum. Relax the breathing, relax the throat, become aware of your whole body. Again, the points of contact between the body and the floor, deeper breaths, getting to move your fingers and toes. Beginning to slowly make your way back to seated. So you're going through whatever movements you need to get there. We're going to finish with 6 rounds of the pranayama technique of Brahmari. This breathing technique is especially good for activating Vishudda, or clearing any stagnation at the throat chakra. It activates both the voice box and the function of speech, as well as our hearing, which are both closely related to this energy center. So Brahmari, you can do this with or without the hands, but we're creating it's known as buzzing bee breath. So you're creating a humming sound that you want to mentally direct from the throat up into the head. You can block your ears lightly if that's useful for you, elbows out. So I'll demonstrate one and then we'll do 6 together. Vibration is created at the throat, but you create a kind of a nasally focus to it as well, and kind of bring that vibration up into the head. So 6 together, deep breath in. The Brahmari also has it's a tranquilizing breathing technique, so it helps to really calm the mind. Any other vibrations in the body, like strong emotions, Brahmari can help to neutralize that. Okay. Namaste. Namaste. Have a great Monday.